Hello, 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 friends. Hello. Oh, so glad to have you here today. Ready to get into some racing, huh? Let's do it. Let's do it. Let's get it going. Come on. I'm kind of excited about these races today. Ooh, you know what I did? I did not turn on my lead pencil sign. One moment, please, as I correct this egregious error. Ta-dum. Okay. Let us say hi to all the good people. LVP, P1, Nielsen, P2, Mama BL with P3, Holly Mazda in 4th place Energy. Well done, sir. And then 5th place, 5th place. Oh, it takes us a bit to find 5th place. Doc is in 5th place. All right. Very cool. Good to see you guys. Actia is correct. It's an important update. You can hop on at any point. He is Lead Pencil Channel Tech Support. The comment, like, and good vibes. Thank you, Beecham. Appreciate you, bud. Still trying to catch up. Hang on. Oh, what did Nielsen say? Either die a hero or live long enough to see yourself become the villain. Oh yeah, that is from Batman. Shameful lighting. My fault, my fault. NTAC, good to see you, friend. And Forza, good to see you as well. Your tech support for the whole house. Yeah, okay. Good point. Good point. Not from Batman? Doc says it's from Batman. Would be good at CVG. Well, here you are. Super correct mundo, sir. Yeah. You were onto something there. I'll get to the bottom of it. Yeah. It's from The Dark Knight. It's spoken by Harvey Dent, Two-Face. Yeah. It's totally from Batman. Great to have you all here. So, we're going to get into some CGV. Sorry, CGV. I always want to say CVG. CGV tonight. Going to get into some Daytona. I'm excited to drive two cars that I have probably collectively driven less than an hour and a half total. So it's pretty sweet. Yeah, Doc remembers exactly where that's from. No, no, not CVT. Not the same thing. Okay. Well, I'm so glad to have you all here tonight. It's a whole lot of fun to start the day off with a little bit of chit chat because you guys are already filling up the chat. Does mean a lot. Yeah, Doc keeps it easy. It's the track in Montreal. Oops, that's the wrong thing. All right. Now, me and Gilles Villeneuve, we don't get along too well. Maybe it's just because I've been in the wrong car. Maybe if we get in the right car, all will go well. But first, we are going to check out a top time. So let's do that. Oh, what did she do now? The thumbnail pic was a bad hair day? Oh my goodness. Hair is similar. I can't. What was the thumbnail? That was the same. That was from the series of pictures we took for all the thumbnails. I don't know how that one could be any different. Oz Mustang Drifter and Poly Mazda. Cool. Very nice. You guys are hilarious. Absolutely out of control. All right, let's see what we can learn. Let's learn all the things that I can't really do. Maybe. Mm-hmm. Light post. Little lift going through there. Ooh, even a little lift through there to try. Wow, look how much speed you carry. I've driven this much more with either high downforce cars or group fours. Momentum doesn't carry you anywhere near that far to the left. Okay, yeah, just before that orange opening. Patience. Patience to get on the throttle, I'm seeing. Before the tunnel. Yeah, we'll see about that. So I'm noticing one thing real quick. There really is no get to your slowest point and you're slow enough to where you just power out, no lifting. You're gonna end up lifting some in order to make it through the corners. All right, so a little before the 100. This is the turn I hate. So he gets his stop. So that's a good marker there. So he's 29 miles per hour, 28, 29, 27. Then the car will actually turn. Optia has the power. Okay, yeah, it's that that little I don't know what that is. Little garage thing over there. Okay. Just do as close to that as we can. Orange muscle box to accelerate at the hairpin. Okay. Layer with the time. And of course, Welcy, like, wow. So, what is this timer for? Oh, a 34.8. Okay. Okay. 34.8. It's not fair. Well, they did give us Group 4 a while ago. You remember. We haven't had Group 3 here yet since the Spec 3 update. Yeah, that would be cool. If they made it FR only. Always do that. Yeah, I still don't get no tire temps, Octia. I'm not sure what's going on. I restarted the computer and everything to see if the Sim Hub would get its act together. Right, okay. Not today. Okay. We got a little closer that time. This car feels heavy. Is it heavy? Well, that's okay. I always adjust to those things. Oh dear. Yeah, it's because it's 5,000 pounds. Something like that. Nope. Wow. Woo! Good point about having a pointy car. Little love tap on the wall of champions. No big deal. That was fun. That's a better exit. We be learning here. We be learning. Grover, good to see you, friend. How you doing, bud? Man, maybe I just totally saw what I thought the ghost do wrong. But wow, I am overshooting that thing like crazy. Yep. SMF, good to see you, bud. Alright, let's try to not totally destroy ourselves on this chicane. Maybe try that, huh? Still wasn't good. Still wasn't good. Yeah, mostly I'm having trouble on the brakes. Well, I say that and then I spin on exit. Nice tight track. Hey there, Slow. Good to see you, friend. Shaking your cursor. Sorry. Oops. Oh, mouse on the floor, sure. Okay. We got an exit. That's decent. Hey, drones, what's up, man? Wasn't great. Wasn't terrible. Nope. Let me try that. We'll just try that. Not slow enough. Gotta get just below 30 miles an hour there. Steven Sells, good to see you, man. Okay, we might be getting a little closer to figuring a thing or two here out. We'll hit the dang wall. Sure that's a pen? Oh yeah. Okay, we'll take the opportunity to restart there. What's actually, hang on. What is optimal before we do that? 37.7 is optimal. My fault. My fault. I don't need to be sending it immediately. My fault. It's on me. You said the car twerked. Fully unintentional. Honestly. Oof. Missed the braking point by just a bit. LG, what's up, bud? And Wayne, good to see you guys. Overshooting. These big braking zones, man, you have to... Margins for when you start braking are so tight. Especially if you dip a couple tires on the grass, like I just did. That was almost pretty good. Heard there was cake. we've got tire temps again. Well done, Octia. Well done. No. Really, Octia? Wow. That must have been bad because it made you say flippin'. Hey, David, good to see you, man. Ooh, that was smooth and nice. %. Okay. I hit it hard enough to get damage. Like the Corvette. Yeah, I bet it'd be good here. Ooh, and the Ford GT. Same sim hub. Yeah, agreed. Bonk. Hmm? 373. Optimal. So much room for improvement right there. Alright. We can just do decently at the Wall of Champions. We can have a good jump in time here. Ooh, I still nicked it, I think. Right, don't hero brake here. Gordo, good to see you, bud. It is really narrow, isn't it? Jade, great to see you, friend. How you doing? Oops. I just didn't turn. Okay, I'm gonna try something extreme here. See what happens. I feel like part of the reason I might not be turning is because fronts are just cold. But going... Actually, let me start it. But going that much to the front might induce a whole lot of understeer as well, so. Try it. I have the most impressive itch. Hold on, guys. Wow. Oh. Where'd that come from? Almost done for the day. Get after it, SD. Tires go wee. Count as one after that. Okay. I don't know if that's going to be better. I just need to try something. Don't say that car name. Is that right, LG? I'm sure it's going to do it in a little while. That was too much curb. Okay. We really are in experiment mode right now. No, it's not Group 4. Alright, that was an outlap. Little too much curve. Yeah, we were there, SD. That felt good. Didn't get the weight to transfer. Look at the crowd. Nobody even showed up to watch it. It's so true. Thought I had it. Yeah, I didn't tap the wall. There we go. That's better, right? There we are, yeah. Messed that up. Got just a little off the line, and that's all it took. I think a 36 might be incoming here. All right, SD. Understeer galore. Man, really tough to get the weight transferred properly. And if you don't get it transferred properly first, you're just going to go straight in this car. Alright, we're getting close to the end here. Let's try and nab a 36. No, I pushed it. Bike number 5, good to see you, bud. Little love tap on the wall. Slowing us down. Favorite walls are at Bathurst. Can't say that I definitively have any favorite walls. Ice cream. The best cones are at Grand Valley. Oh, I see. Nope, overcompensated. Hey, our performance, what's up, man? Hi. One more sesh, and let's see if we can make it happen. It is. It is indeed high performance. I didn't breathe for those last 3 corners, I think. Don't be putting banana skins down. Oh, goodness. Oh, engine damage. Ow. Actually, like, cannot turn around. Well, we got the 36. It's just barely a 36, man. Give it just a wee bit longer here. I think that was more than a bite. That might have been a whole chomp. Only if I hit it, I would say only if I hit it just the wrong way. Most of the times it's eating up the curbs really nice. If I was saying earlier on, it feels like it's 5,000 pounds. It's like it's heavy as my truck. But I did want an opportunity to try to drive something new. And we're going to drive new things on both Race B and Race C. Okay, I think my head's not in it anymore, so we're gonna call it there. I don't think it's very good. I don't think it's very good at all. Oh, am I wrong? Oh, okay. Well, it's high on my friends list, but not very high in the world. So, okay, we'll accept it. We will save the replay. Let you guys look at it too if you'd like. Let me get a quick pick for thumbnail purposes. And we'll come back to a lap guide. I do like doing lap guides at CGV because all the chicanes are just slightly different, little nuances of coolness to them and how you take them just slightly differently. So that's pretty fun. So let me grab this real quick. Okay. Wall of Champions? Wall of Champions. Get the sun. Haven't done one of these in a while. Yeah, it's already pretty late. Bam. Ooh, yeah, sweet. Oops. Yeah, that's what we want. All right, that part is finished. Let's do some lap guidance here. So as we're getting rolling here, just want to make note of things that I did for this combo that I haven't done in a long time. Number one, I kept the brake balance at neutral. And I did that because I felt like I needed to get extra braking power and also help to try and get some temperature in the front wheels because, my goodness, it was terrible. And then the other thing I did was I switched my ABS to weak, from default to weak. And I'm not sure if that's a track thing or this car thing. I have a feeling it might be this car thing. So anyway, keep that in mind maybe when you're practicing. All right. That, and then let's get visualizer up. Oh, yeah. On my mouse, yes, you told me to get rid of it. Okay. Okay, I like that there. Okay, so we got Gilles Villeneuve, Montreal track, Canada. Here we go. This thing This is a tough track. It's very different from what we're typically doing. One of the things I really want to point out is you don't have pretty much any long corners. They're all big braking zones, quick corners, tight corners, a lot of them, and then of course a lot of chicanes as well. So when we look at this first one here, I'm sitting at the brake, my brake reference here, which is this orange window, where it's a window in the gate that is outlined in orange over there to the right. That's what I'm using. I'm trying to brake right about here. I don't want to reach that before I start braking. I want to start braking before that. With the visualizer, what we're looking at is an entry that's kind of like, we're looking at like this a little bit. Probably want to tighten that just a little bit more. There we go. Because we're trying to make sure that we get a good, nice wide entrance here. Really let the car roll and be patient so that it actually clips this first apex. If you are even just a half a car width too wide, it makes the rest of the corner just that much more difficult, because you end up apexing too soon over here and you have to wait for the car to turn even more. So this part right here, this is where the money is made at turn 1, okay? Pay extra attention, focus on that in a major way. Really easy to go too deep, and then it compromises this, and there's just no getting it back. You're not getting it back anywhere else, okay? Let's look at the the actual track now to represent that line. So we're braking in a straight line here. I like to get my right tires just a little bit over this white line. Just gives me that little bit of extra width as I come in. But go ahead and before the grass comes, go ahead and turn in. Down to second. And when we hit this apex, I mean we clobber it. We get the left tires all the way onto this grading part of the curve, okay? And then, real briefly, you're back on the throttle and then on the brakes down to first, okay? And you will go ahead and clip this apex, this first part here, but you're going to continue to decelerate all the way to about this line where the rear tires are right now. At this point, you're on the throttle, but you're waiting for the car to finish turning. Then you work your way up to 90% throttle, 80, 90%, and then by this point, right about by this point, you should be able to go to maximum throttle. If you saw me practicing, you saw I was having a real time with this corner. But it was definitely instrumental in me getting a 36 when it finally happened. So, happy about that. All right, let's get up to the next brake marker. Next brake marker is another window, or you might say this pole on the left. Either one works, I think. This pole, that orange window right here. Both of those are good references. Okay. Now let's look at this one on the visualizer. Second one's more open. Both are a little more open, I think. Okay. So we're on a bona fide chicane, one of many that are here, right? Now, when we talk about chicanes, what I always want to discuss with you all is where to be at your slowest. It's very easy to be at your slowest right around here in a chicane. But this is not where we're gonna actually be doing that, okay? We're gonna be at our slowest always towards the first apex. For this one, I like to be at my slowest at the edge of this first apex in this vicinity here. What that does, it feels like it slows the car down enough to be just like that. Go ahead and get on the throttle and then give a little lift in this area right here. If you don't do that, two things. Number one, the weight's probably not going to shift very well. And number two, if the weight doesn't shift very well, then you're pretty much guaranteed to hit this wall right here, okay? So that's the idea behind that. Now make sure that you're really coming in nice and patient as you come in here. And again, getting on the throttle later, right around this edge of it right here, and don't forget to lift right there. Back to the track, braking in a straight line through here, third gear, down to second, letting the car tighten over to this part of the apex. You're using, you know, 20% brake pressure by the time you get here. You do that all the way to this point. Then you're on the throttle. Lift. I like to get up to third, and then back on the throttle. Plan to get your tires out here. You're probably going to hit that wall a few times. It's just going to happen. Make sure you stay to the, get back over to the left quickly. Go ahead and grab that curb that I just went over. And don't be afraid to put a couple tires in the grass briefly there. You're going to be coming through here nice and hot. Keep it nice and tight. A little, so here's the thing. If you've carried really good speed through the previous chicane, if you keep the foot on the floor, you're going to hit the left side wall. So if you, and this is actually a good barometer for us as far as how well we're taking that corner or not. If we can take this part here without lifting, that means we haven't really gotten fast on the previous chicane yet, okay? Interesting way of testing yourself through there. So that means car will take you out here, and as soon as I get to this part right here, the 100 has passed, and I'm approaching the next orange window over there. This is when I'm on the brakes, okay? All right, now we'll get the visualizer out once again. This one's a lot tighter to start out. And I think we're going to go ahead and tighten this up a little bit. Yeah, there you go. Not quite so much. Okay, so what we're looking at here then is, once again, really taking our time and being patient on this first part. We're going to go down to second and then down to first and let the car tighten and really point. You see how this racing line sort of, if you were just to keep going, it would point over here. You really want to get the car pointed all the way over here, okay? That's really going to help the weight transfer. The other thing too is you're going to be at your slowest, not about right around here. You're going to be at your slowest much closer to the middle of the corner. And I want you to get on the throttle middle of the corner. At your slowest here, on the throttle here. You're going to go ahead and get the car's weight transferred. Then you're going to lift a little bit as you prepare to get up to third gear. Then you're going to power out nice and smoothly. Monitor how the car is reacting, because it's very easy to understeer and hit that outer wall also, okay? All right, let's look at the actual track for this one then. Coming through here, we're on the brakes, down to third, down to second. These arrows right here, this second arrow on the right is a great turn-in marker, okay? Down to first, and this is where the patience comes in. It would be really easy to get on the throttle like right here. Don't do it. That is going to compromise your exit big time. Stay on the brakes all the way until you get the car pointed here. Okay, now you're on the throttle and you're going to point to that if you have that taller tree on the left, you have a medium-sized tree on the right, you're going to point the car at the smallest tree in between it, okay? And by this point you're on full throttle. You turn, you get off the throttle, you're up to third, now you're full throttle again, monitoring, plan to click that curve, but then off you go. Okay, next chicane, here we are. Okay, this one, it like a lot of these chicanes, it feels like, oh, you could brake so much later and still make it, but you really don't, So with this one, it's a little bit tighter of a first one that opens up on the second one. So let's look at that on the visualizer here. So this is basically what we're looking at right here. Because of that, we want to actually be at our slowest a little bit sooner than some of the other chicanes. And this is some of the fun here with the nuances of these different chicanes. So we want to be at our slowest right here. much sooner than the previous two. So we're looking at like before mid-corner is where we're at our slowest. Because this one's a tighter one, this one opens up. We will have to lift as we prepare to hit this second set of curbs here. Otherwise you will get the wall over here and it's not going to be a fun time. But nevertheless, this is where you want to be on the throttle. So your heavy braking zone, make sure we get that turn-in point right. We'll talk about that. And then so forth, out you go. Now, on the actual track, my brake marker for this one is the end of the grass on the left. See that right there? My speedometer now is just on it. Okay, just like that. And when I'm braking through here, I like to brake in a straight line, but point the car just a little bit more to the left because, and get that little extra width right here. And then as I get to the edge of the curb, I don't think I'm actually getting on the grass there. Down to second, and you're hard on the brakes so that you can get this right here. So you're just going to clip, if you can, trying to clip the inside of this orange sausage. And this is when you're on the throttle at first, up to third lift, and then back on it, monitoring how the car's behaving, and out you go. All right, now for the hairpin. Oh goodness, I overshot big time. Kind of like I did practicing. All right, so there's an escape road right here. You see that right here. Now it's even with the speedometer on the left. So just as I pass this escape road, right about here, this is where I'm on the brakes, okay? Really can't push any more than that. You're trying to get from 100, who knows how many miles per hour, all the way down to 29 miles an hour in this space of, in this distance, okay? So that's a big job, and you really can't push it too much farther than that. Look, there is a lot of time in braking at this track. If you brake too early, you're definitely losing time. But the margins are so fine, they're so small with these big braking zones. If you're just a 3 to 5 meters too late, that's going to cost you. If you're 3 to 5 meters too soon, that's going to cost you also. So it's really tough. Really is a tough track in that regard. So with the visualizer, we're going to check it out here. And we're going to get this hairpin, not quite like that. Although that is similar, actually. It does come back a little bit. So this is what we're looking at here for this one. Big braking zone, one of the biggest in the entire circuit, because of how slow you have to get. And you need to get to about 29 miles an hour right about here, okay? So that the car will actually grip enough and turn the rest of the way, so that by the time you're just past mid-corner, you can apply throttle, because you really need to get on the throttle as soon as you can. Not fully, because the car won't handle it, but you need to get on the throttle as soon as you can because it's the longest straightaway in the entire circuit after this. Amazing. It really does test our skills on this track in that regard, okay? So get on the throttle no later than just past mid-corner. Work your way to full throttle as you come out. There's a lot of extra space on this part. I suggest using it. You're going to need it. You're going to need it a lot, okay? I do find that the Aston is pretty stable in this corner, but it is scary to try and get on the throttle too soon, so that's where it really is the trouble. So braking in a straight line then all the way through here. Turning at the 50 second first, letting the car turn. This is where you're waiting, and this is where you apply throttle. This is that extra runoff that I'm talking about. Plan on using it, and out you go. Just a quick note, shifting this vehicle seems to want to shift just before it blinks at you. I didn't always remember to do that very well, so I'm telling myself just as much as you. All right, so I am beginning to brake just as I pass the 150. That looks to be right about here. Okay, that's how that looks. And then let's look at the visualizer for this final chicane that leads to the Wall of Champions. It truly is a 90 to 90. Or maybe just a little bit more open, 99. So you're not getting as slow as you would be in some of the other corners. But because of the distance from here to here, it makes it a little tricky. So you're seeing how we're going to get as much rotation as we can done before we get to the first apex. We're going to try and straighten the exit as much as we possibly can. Easier said than done. Totally get it. But that's your aim. Trying to straighten this exit as much as you can. Part of that is because of the bumps. Part of that is because of the potential for power oversteer. So this big braking zone turn in, you're going to be at your slowest right just before you clip the apex, which is just, you know, kind of a little late apex. Get the car settled, pointed, heavy on the throttle with a little lift, then you're back on the throttle fully, and out you go. Okay? Looking at the actual track then, braking in a straight line through here, turning at the 50 board, and then clipping, making sure you get this clip. Now, sometimes if you clip this first sausage the wrong way, man, it'll bounce you to kingdom come. So that's going to happen. But out of all the cars, I think this one of the reasons why this one is a meta is because it handles the curb so well. But this is your general approach. Let the car make sure it settles, then up to third, full throttle, lift, then back to full throttle. Your momentum should carry you out all the way here. You may kiss the Wall of Champions, it may kiss you back. And there you have it. Lap 1, turn 1, if you're starting towards the front, instead of using the orange as your brake marker, you're going to use the edge of the railing here. And basically it's going to be quick jab of the brake, which it turns immediately into trail braking. And then one thing I would say is don't try to compromise your line too much. There's really not a lot of space. Most people are not going to be able to dive, I don't think, unless they do something very egregious. And if that's the case, then I'm very sorry that ends up happening to you. But I think just keep your line the same for this one. You should be good, as long as you haven't braked too hard or too early. That would be the thing. You don't want to do that. All right? All right, that's your turn 1, lap 1 guide, and your lap guide for Gilles Villeneuve. Okay. Times ahead. Oh, and while I was away, we got a 30 burger, and Saragon's in. Hey there, Saragon, a member of the Stud Club for 14 months. He's working on a year and a half, all. Eula, good to see you, friend. Loving the guide. I'm so glad, man. That's why we do it. Appreciate you coming in and saying hi. Sorry for the ignoring, but I do try to just lock in while I'm doing these lap guides. Otherwise, I lose my train of thought. Thank you for the 30 likes, everyone. Appreciate you. I was told you can do full throttle going into the pit. You cannot. No, I can't do it again, Jade. Enjoying it more than the racing itself. Wow. And Colin just has to come in and beat my time. He was waiting. He was just waiting. I know he was. Appreciate you, Polly. Drive me to the library, throwing up some burgers. Everyone who doesn't know, Drive Me to the Library is my amazing, awesome, fabulous wife. If you think I'm cool, man, you ain't seen nothing. Okay, change the car. We're on the softs, good to go. All right, so what we did for Gilles Villeneuve, now we're going to do for Daytona. Going to practice. Going to get... Wow. Fellas, P1 in the world? I see you. Okay. Hey, Rube, how's it going? All right. Hopefully, setting a decent time won't take quite as long for this one. But the other is a track I'm not as familiar with a car I'm definitely not familiar with. So that one took a little bit longer. Of course, we'll also see how stubborn I get for this one. So this is a track I'm very familiar with, but not a car that I'm very familiar with. This car sounds really cool, though. I'll give it that. I'm objectively not cool. No. Oh, sweet. Thank you. Ooh, I do have 7 gears. Oh, I like how this feels. Good feeling car. I saw the Viper. Some people were using that earlier today. This is the meta, the Jag. The leaderboard is dominated by the Jag, and last I saw there were 2 Elantra Ns, and that's it. Then the Jag took over, exactly. I don't know how Bella didn't get a pen there, but okay. Well, it's a Group 4 car, so it's not as expensive. Not sure what you mean. That was not a great line. Okay, a little slower, I think. Oh, that. I'll have to relook. I didn't check it out. Got a little loose. Seeing the results. Practice doesn't make perfect. Perfect practice makes perfect. Very cool. Good explanation of the comment. I think, Polymazda, as long as you have 2 tires on the right, your right tires on the yellow lines, you're going to be okay as far as the game is concerned. Dumb. Whee! Off-roading. That's going to compromise this and the next one. Crud. Yeah, I don't watch too much NASCAR. I did for a bit there in like the 20 teens. Like a lot of sporting events, it's all very long. That'll help you get faster. Is that right, SD? Cool stuff, man. Is that right? lost it all there. I forget, now that I ruined that, I forget the time I'm following. Oh, is that right, Essie? You just missed it. Yeah, what am I following? A 54-1. Okay. I think that's my best turn one so far. Close. We're safe. Feels like maybe that pen's a little more lenient right now. Well, Brule, we're going to talk all about it. Yes, we are. We're going to take a high line, try and get the momentum off the dips. Good run. I think we can beat our time because I took a wide line on lap 1. It's purple right now. Well, maybe not. Not by much, at least. I hate it when I hit that thing. It just reaches out and grabs you. Don't like it. I don't like it. Never pick up any passengers. Wow. Great to have you here, Jade. Missed you. Missed you while we were away. Okay. Okay, so much speed through there. Next. You saw the wall move, yeah. Let's try to carry some immense speed here. That was immense speed in all the wrong places. Dag nabbit. That wasn't how you do it. We did knock a couple tenths off, though. It's a good turn one. It was in your blood. Wow, that's such a cool story. Nice. I'm going to try this again. I know this is not the lap. Let me whoosh down here. An extra boost. And then whoosh down here. Oh, no way. Lame sauce. Give it a little bit longer. I think I can get a 55.1. Maybe a 54, but maybe not a 54 today. Bonk. Just trying to catch it. I did not. Bonk. It was a bonk. I don't think you can really call it anything else. Just it, I guess. Well, we're trying to find limits. We are succeeding. All right, SD, we'll see you later, man. That was rapid. Too bad this lap stinks up until that point. Is that right? Mick Goes Racing, thank you, Mick. Appreciate it, bud. It's good to be back. I'm just trying to get the tires warmed up. That's all I'm doing, honestly. Yeah, it was great, man. Highly recommend vacations. They're great. Okay, yeah. Still don't think this is a lap. Staycations are great too. They really are. Hey, I got turn 1 correct. That was a good exit for me. Please be good. Please be good. Okay. This might be the lap. There with a 44.9. Yeah, we'll accept that. Might work on it later in the week. Next stream, by the way, we plan to do on Thursday. Real quick, take a pic for a thumbnail. Do a lap guide, and then maybe we'll get probably have a chance for one race. Yeah. See? Okay, there be done. Listen first, then drive. Gives you that oomph, right? Okay. Sweet. Okay. Now we head over. Let's get this lap guide going here. Maybe we might see if I can get it done in time for the 9:30 race. Possible. Not a lot of turns here, actually, so. First, we got to get to turn 1, though. Takes a while to get there. Distracted driving. Okay. So, let's talk about Daytona. So lots of long straights after tight turns, some medium speed corners, some slow corners. So name of the game for Daytona is get on the throttle as early as you can, all the time, every time. All right. If you're not doing that, then you're not going to carry good speed out of the corners, and you're just going to be losing time on the straights or the flat out sections again and again and again. So think throttle early. As you're practicing, maybe you don't want to be flirting with disaster every time, but build a foundation and then begin to experiment with braking later, turning a little bit later, getting on the throttle earlier, that sort of thing. You might find that'll help you a lot. Turn 1 is an excellent example of that, okay? So I'm sitting at the brake marker right now, and you might say, where is it? Well, it is this line right where my speedometer is just barely touching right there. Right there. Okay, that's the line. And you say, how are you using that as a brake marker? Because you've got all this, right? Well, it has everything to do with how you're approaching the corner. So, oops, too far. When you're coming through here, I'm using this white line as a reference, and we're making sure to come around just like this, and then bam, that's how I know to be on the brakes right there. Now, let's go ahead and look at the visualizer for this one. All right, so you're going to be on the brakes for what feels like an eternity, okay? But it is the best way to go when it comes to doing this. You're going to decelerate. Your deceleration zone is very, very long. You're going to come around, and this is going to take forever, but I want you to stay on the brakes in a straight line as much as possible, then begin to turn. You're going to stay on the brakes this entire time, but it's going to be like 50% pressure and less all the way to this apex. You know you've really nailed it if you almost clip that inner wall and almost kill yourself. Honestly, that's how you know you've done a great job. Because if you've gotten that tight, you can get on the throttle mid-corner, accelerate through that apex, and it's super rapid, okay? So on the actual track, what that looks like here, it's coming down here. You don't really want to be too narrow. Don't go over to that grass part. That's really not going to help you. You're braking as much in a straight line as you can right here. Now you begin to trail off, and you're coming just like this as you bang down. You might get a little extra first gear for help, maybe, but most of the time it's going to be staying in second. This is where, at the tires, I want you to pounce on the throttle. If you've taken a wide enough line and your steering input isn't too severe to the left, then you're going to be able to make this corner no problem without any power oversteer issues. Okay? Plan on your momentum carrying you all the way out here. Right, another tricky brake area. What I'm looking for is just at the edge above my screen right there is a pole in the distance. That's what I'm looking for as far as a brake marker is concerned. There's also this this second white line on the right here. That's also a decent brake marker. That can be harder to find in the middle of traffic, so you might at least want to have that one up there as an option. All right, now this one is a 180-degree turn, and we kind of forget. I think this is one of those turns where we don't realize, oh man, we're turning for a long time. Yeah, you are. And a lot of it has to do with the fact that it's 180 degrees that you're turning. Okay, so the line looks basically like this. Quick, big braking zone, which immediately translates into trail braking, and you really want to be slowly but deliberately downshifting through all the gears, kind of a lot like the previous one. You're going to be on the brakes a long time. Trail braking is going to be a key element to this, so that you get on the throttle right around mid-corner. On the throttle, you're going to power out. You're going to plan to go nice and wide, you know, the runoff there. Plan to be out there. You should have to use that in order to make the corner. That means you're getting on the throttle early enough. It's really easy to get on the throttle much later, and really, you know, your momentum actually just takes you to almost middle of the track, or just a little bit to the left. That's how you know you're not really going fast enough through this corner, okay? All right, so on the actual track then, braking in a straight line, then trail braking, down to first for that last bit of rotation. Right here, you see this flat part, or this straighter part, I should say, of the curb? That's my acceleration marker. I need to be full throttle by this point. I'm on the throttle. I plan to be on the throttle a little bit earlier than that back there. But this is where I know I need to be. So I'll just take a look at that one more time. You can really see how straight it is looking at it from this angle right here. So I'm on the throttle by now, powering out of here, okay? Momentum, like I said, should take you out all the way over here. There you go. You do have to watch out for power oversteer, but these wide turn-ins will help straighten your steering and will allow you for more powerful exits and earlier throttle inputs. All right, so brake marker for here is just before we get to the curbing up here. You see that? This is a lot later than we might be used to as well, because we're often here in Group 1 car. I mean, Group 1. Well, Group 3 and Group 1 and others, okay? So that's your brake marker for there. On the track, this one is very similar to the previous corner. All I would say is you're gonna just be a little bit tighter sooner. The reason for that is because the actual track kind of opens up at this part, and it actually is open here, so my visualizer doesn't depict that. That's the idea. You're again on the brakes for a long time, trail braking, staying in the 50 to 40 to 30 to 20% brake pressure all through this area. Really what you're trying to do, and I should have mentioned this earlier, is you're trying to transition from brakes to throttle very seamlessly. There shouldn't be a lot of coasting unless you've really nailed that entrance and really nailed that speed that you're right on, but most of us aren't doing that. So use throttle or use brakes to control your deceleration so that you can transition from brake to throttle right here, okay? And out you go, just like that. Very easy to apex too soon. If we're doing that, then we're gonna have to end up waiting for the car to rotate, and there's a higher likelihood of going wide on exit as well, so watch out for that. On the actual track then, coming through here, down the gears, this line right here, we're gonna tighten up, just like I was talking about, down to first. And you see there's another straightened part of the curb here. This is when I know I need to be on, I need to be working my way toward, I need to be on the throttle, working my way to full throttle as we power out of this. All right, one of the most important turns on the track, because it is I guess this is just slightly shorter than the next flat out section. Yeah, I think so. So what I'm looking for a brake marker here is this seam, this dark seam right now where the RPM meter is. That's my brake marker for this one. Okay, that's what that looks like in those views. Let's take a look. So this is not a 180 degree turn. This is instead just past 90 degree turn. Now this, I want to depict this. This is often right here. This is the line that we feel like we should take. We should apex early and get on the throttle early. What that ends up doing is it ends up costing us by going too wide, and sometimes we have to wait to get on the throttle, and this is one corner that you must not wait to get on the throttle. So I'm going to propose a wider turn in, later turn in, wider turn in, earlier on the throttle, okay? That's what this looks like right here. Braking heavy in a straight line, then trail braking all the way to mid-corner. You can use second, you can go all the way down to first if you feel like you're coming in a little too hot, but the ideal would be staying in second, using braking to really get it down to the right speed, and then you really want to be pouncing on that throttle. Now, what's really critical about this is you notice we're doing a lot of rotating and turning the car before the apex, because we want to straighten that exit as much as possible. When we straighten that exit as much as possible, we have less likelihood of the back end coming out. That's going to bode very well for us if we do that, okay? So, let's look at that on the actual track then. Braking heavy in a straight line. This is going to feel a little frantic. As the yellow ends on the curb there, that's when you're turning in. And you're coming in, and you're getting this last bit of rotation, and this is where I want you to be on the throttle, friends. And for some of you, you might think that is really early. Well, if you've decelerated enough to this point, then it's not going to be too early at all. And I really suggest pouncing on that throttle. All right, let's get all the way to the chicane. Don't have a visualizer for the bus stop, but you have a very good way of explaining how to do a bus stop, and this is pretty similar for all bus stops. The key about a bus stop is where are you at your slowest and where are you transferring the weight, okay? But first, before we get to that, we're looking at where we're going to hit the brakes, and for this car and this track, this portion of the track, we are hitting the brakes as we pass this white line right here. Okay, as we pass that, we're on the brakes. What you really want to do is straighten the entrance and the exit as much as you possibly can. Now, when they had the problem of people, you know, cutting the course big time, they implemented basically a no grass touchy rule. So we weren't able to put any cars on our tires on the grass. Now you can. Without any penalty. So you're going to brake down to 4th, downshift down to 4th. You're going to attempt to get your left tires on the grass. This is where it's really critical. You may use a little third gear to help stabilize the car, but this is where the weight gets transferred, friends, okay? You're still decelerating through this second apex, but you need to yank the wheel over to the right so that you get a whole load of weight on the left side of the car so that those left tires can give you all the grip that you need. You're back up to 4th, and this is where, right about here, right before the middle of the bus stop is when you're back on the throttle. It'll be really easy to get too slow through here. That's the problem I was having when I was practicing. You don't want to get too slow or get too slow too soon. Very easy to get too slow or slow at your slowest before this second apex rather. So watch out for that potential. If you've done this right, you can get back on the throttle fully from this point. You can dip just a little bit of tires on the grass there and then go over like this, and there's no problem at all whatsoever. You don't need a pit entrance guide for this one because it is just go full force as much as possible. I will say, if you know that you're not on a good lap, I suggest taking this high line. What that's going to do is actually give you a lot of great momentum because right here after the Daytona part, there's this little dip. Whoosh, that gives you an extra little boost of speed. If you know you're on a lap, go ahead and stay to the left. And then go ahead and drop down like this. If you do that right, by the time you hit the finish line, you're going to be going 153 miles an hour, which is like 1 or 2 miles per hour faster than if you just stayed to the left. You carry that speed all the way to the next corner, so that's great. Now, if you are starting towards the front, like top 3, top 5, where do you want to be braking? Well, you don't want to be braking right here. Instead, I want you to begin braking just as you enter this little part of the infield, okay? Right here is where I want you to start braking. I want you to go ahead and keep this nice wide line. If you carry good speed, no one's going to be able to really dive on you because they're going to be going slower trying to get on your inside. So keep that nice wide line, power out, and you should be good, okay? And that is your lap 1, turn 1 guide, and that is your cornering guide for Daytona. Sweet deal, guys. All right. I do not think I drive like a maniac. we're on highways. I drive 9 over the speed limit on a regular basis. That's what I do. All right, we have just enough time to enter into this race. I'm excited. We'll get a couple of these races in tonight. I gotta check in though, looks like. The rule is 9 you're fine, 10 you're mine. That's what we talk about. When did we go to Pennsylvania? Are you sure you're not talking about following my brother? Because that's who I think you're confusing me with. I didn't go to Roadside America going to your aunt's. That was not me. That was not me. That was my brother. That was Kel. No. What are you talking about? Video proof. Okay, I want to see it. I want to see this driving like a maniac. I want to see it. So who else was there? Was my whole family in the car? Because I know I'm not driving like a maniac with my whole family in the car. Hey, Blank, you liking this? This is high quality entertainment right here, friends. We're out together. I think you are being a grandma right now. I love you, BL. I love you, Mama BL. But I do not drive like a maniac. I'll tell you what cured me of driving like a maniac. Everyone want to know? When I wrapped my car around a tree going 50 miles an hour. That's what stopped me from driving like a maniac. Now, I don't think this happened. This is not me. Because you even said before our trip, now don't you go speeding and stuff. I'm like, I don't go fast. There are people passing me on the highway all the time. Ooh, Burns is in front of us. Maverick's here. First race apologies, says Burns. Oh, Greasy's here. Victory's here. Yeah, we're all on our first lane. Not in two separate cars. I remember going as a kid. Is that right, performance? All right. Okay. I believe you, John was with you. I just don't remember. I don't remember going there, and I definitely don't remember speeding like crazy. Burns just said in chat, I don't know where to brake. He's just putting me on notice right now. Should have watched my lap guide. Well, he did fine. Look at that. It's a 30 burger, says LVP. Good to see you, LVP. Oh, I should have been on racing mediums to start, shouldn't I? Nuts. Well, that's not so bad actually, starting in the front. But I don't know that it's gonna make much of a difference. Okay, mama. Okay. I have to drive like a maniac right now, okay? So leave me alone. Don't distract me. That's right, Doc. That's right. Well, that wasn't great, but it wasn't as bad as being back there with them. Man, that got. They ran out of room in a hurry. He had a penalty, I think, LVP. I think. Yeah, he got a penalty in the chicane. All right, we mostly saved it. Yeah, not great to get a pen on the first lap. Agreed. Well, I just like really not going on the track there, apparently. Okay, well now I don't know why he's going slow. That was kind of wild. Just get a little slipstream. Maybe, not really. It ain't Tokyo, Lev. No, you're right. Scared me. You scared me. I feel you. I'm scared too. I think what I'm not accounting for the overspeed is what's happening. Coming in multiple miles per hour faster for this corner. Plus, tires are wearing. Don't do it. Okay. Work with victory. We're going to be on different compounds of tires, but I still think it'll be all right. Hopefully. Hopefully. I think it's more important to have a buddy with the slipstream than to just go out by yourself. Performance. Right, LG, right. Hey, yo, it's good to see you, friend. Thanks, man. Oh, Victory got a bad pen. Oh, I didn't see the crawler was here. Man, a whole bunch of friends are here today. Just out of their slipstream up there. Thank you, performance. Advocate, great to see you, bud. Don't do it. Hey there, Petri Pet. How you doing, bud? Oh, thank you, sir. Okay, we're coming in really hot. Well, I guess that's what it takes to pass me, huh? You gotta beat me out of the way. Really, Advocate. Awesome, bud. Crap. Holy crap. Stop hitting my rear. Unbelievable. Like 3 turns in a row. Bam! 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 Thank you to lose this unit. Appreciate it. Close. chicane will make 4. He didn't do it that time, at least. Alright, we're starting to account for the overspeed now. You guys have both said it excellently. Like two sides of the same coin there between you two. Appreciate you coming in, Naya. Velasa in the Bugatti. Oh, gee. A crawler. Oh. I'm very sorry, Crawler. Yeah, just finish it off. Man. Hope Crawler didn't get a pen. Okay, good. Alright. We're gonna try that again. That didn't go to plan at all. I think I gotta chalk some of it up to me being on the different compound by mistake. So I think that's a part of it. Let's go again. And remember to be on the correct tire next time. Ooh, Bella got taken over by McCabe, yeah. Wow. That's really bad. Yes, Patrick, I think we're right. I think you're right on that. Oh. Come on, Jade. Stop putting banana peels down. Look at him. Look at that entrance that he had there. That was a thing of beauty. Alright, we're going to take the high line again. Tokyo! slower that time. Shoot, do I even get to the finish line in time? Ooh. I think that was bad. Yep, sure was. That's something, because it's close. It was going to be close, I think. I probably would have been just a little bit short. Okay. Yeah, better time is possible. Maybe not tonight. All right, third on the grid. Player in the F-type. Hitting pole, baby. All right, we're on the right combo. I could say hi to just about everybody here. Whoa, Cardenas is here? Eh. Yeah, 4 guys with no quali. Saying, here we come. Hey, player, good luck, bud. Thank you, Naya. It's a really nice sounding grid. Burns in chat just said he's on softs. Wow, that was bad. And we're last. Or almost last. Shoot. Sorry, man. That really stinks. All right, Cardenas, let's get just back up those dudes, okay? Yeah. Cold mediums are definitely different than the cold softs. Dedication and coffee. Nielsen knows all about going for not just 21 hours, but 24 hours. Well, if we hang with Veloz and Cardenas, we might be doing all right. Gained a few spots for free. Well, there goes that. You know what else? I never changed the ABS back. Interesting. Now it's going to be very lonely back here. Sure I was going to hit the inner part. Really did. very guttural. Hey, Kel, what's up, man? Well, we're gonna need some help, but I don't think we're gonna get it. We're just in the middle of nothing around here. All right, Jade. Appreciate you, friend. We'll see you later. Better than us doing. Gives us a buddy. It's weird. I wonder what happened. Couldn't be listening right now and helping us out, could he? Come on, Cardenas. I need you to up your game, yo. I don't want to pass. Unbelievable. Just unbelievable. Oh, well, this just went from bad to worse. We'll go in the pits now. Oh. Thank you, Kel. 40 burger, we say. Thank you, Beecham. No, I don't think we've mentioned a 40 burger yet. Wonderful job, pit crew. Wonderful job. Alright, it's the battle for not last. Unless we work together, maybe we could catch these guys up ahead. That would be nice. Come on, Bates, be my homeboy. Let's catch Nunez. You got higher? Okay, man. We'll see you later, bud. I can't believe it, man. I'm actively trying not to pass him who's going slower. Right when there's a yellow flag, I even hit the brakes to not pass him. And I still get the stinking pen. Lame sauce. Oh, wow, what a fantastically terrible night. I can't believe it. Yeah, whatever, game. Just give it to me. We're really going to have to get our act together for Thursday. That's for sure. No, both races have been like this. The juju was already jujuing. Oh, Thursday's just more racing. I want to race a whole bunch here, but I don't want it to be like this. It's lonely in the back. Yeah. HD Rider. Good to see you, bud. Not last. It's going basically like we're excited to not be last. That sums it up. Yeah, that's right. One more lap, maybe we would have caught unit. Is that right, Ryder? Okay, well. Man, just awful. Really sad. Not happy. I don't like it. But what can we do? Not saving either of those replays. Like, what for? Blech. Blech. Like the worst taste in my mouth ever. Yucky. Yeah. So I mean, the first time we did put ourselves in a pickle because we had the incorrect tire strat. Well, not on purpose, but we messed up, and that happened. So, I mean, that is what it is. But the second time, we got the tires right in this last race, and it was worse. It was quantifiably worse. I don't know what to say. It could be worse. I mean, we lost 712 DR on this being 54,000, though. I'm casually, I'm not really going for it yet, but I'm, casually trying to get back to my DR level that I was at before my DR reset. I was at 66,000. That was pretty fun. Yeah, that's who was racing in this one too. Yeah. Not last. Oh dear. Okay, well, that's how it goes sometimes. Sometimes you make mistakes and you have to live with them, and that's all you can do. What else can we do about it, right? Yeah, Kel, it was about, I think I told you about it. It was a while ago now. I don't remember how long ago. A couple months, few months, maybe somewhere January, December. Yeah, for sure, HD. It's the step. It's the next step in the process, really. You start to face those guys and you're like, "Okay. Okay." And as long as you don't, as long as you don't pee your pants, you keep it cool, keep it calm. It's like, okay, you start to realize I belong here. That's the way I look at it. Is I mean, when I was a driver and hadn't become A plus yet, I was like, man, I don't belong here. And that was the wrong mentality, because I think you really need to look at it as, huh, I've earned the right. I've earned the right to race with these guys. Now let me give it my best shot and see what happens. Isn't it though, Ryder? Yes. Yeah, that's a true statement right there. But yeah, DR reset, Kel, is when your SR rating goes down to a B. Then you lose. Your DR automatically goes to, forget the number. It's halfway through A. You're mid A at that point. So yeah, I lost 26,000 DR points, I think. And it wasn't because I was dirty. We were racing really hard at at Deep Forest. It was all really close. There was like 4 or 5 of us, race after race after race, battling for the lead. It was awesome. It was such great racing. And I didn't notice. I mean, I saw I went down to A. I'm like, okay. And then I ended up hitting someone pretty hard. I got a collision pin. And then there was the other, just jostling. And then I went from A to B, and then boom, gone. I just couldn't believe it. Well, we can take a picture together, Berube. Yeah, so I mean, I got the A plus back that same week, or the no, I got it back the next week. It wasn't too hard to do that, but yeah, getting the next 10,000 points to get back to where I was is not not been just a piece of cake. That's for sure. We'll see. Yeah, yeah, that happened. So that was my last race for tonight. I need to get on to editing the lap guide video now before Betty bye. I gotta go to bed. I go to sleep in a little bit. But first comes editing the video. So I'm going to call it there, my good friends. that's going to be it for me tonight. Thank you for hanging out with me. It was a lot of fun. Good to hang with a good group of friends this evening. Good stuff. Let's see. Let me do this right. So, um, yep. So if you missed the lap guides, I'll have that pumped out tomorrow morning. Going to release, and then you'll see me back streaming on Thursday night. Is the plan? Yeah, it'll be good stuff. Looking forward to hanging out with you then. I'll try and get a little practice in to see if I can clean this mess up because that was bad. Yeah, try to put on a little better show next time. And yeah, that's all I got. That's all I got. So we'll see you in a few days. Appreciate you all very much. I love you all like crazy. Not a thing you can do to change my mind. See you guys soon. Bye.